Nice to have a smaller book. Very refreshing.
It'll get bigger.
Yeah. But hey, the end's in sight. All right.
All set. All right, we'll call the Senate Finance Committee meeting to order. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
I have a motion and a second to go into executive session. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. We are in executive session. All right, going down, we're going to do this numerically, so House Bill 229. We have a motion of interim study.
I will second that.
Mr. Chairman,
Discussion.
I support the motion. I think it's the right motion. But I think the one thing that we all should be cognizant of is the differential between the young people who are serving in the National Guard and what we perceived of as the mission of the Guard many, many years ago. The young people, it was a weekend situation, two weeks in the summer, and you were going to stay home. But now 50% of the time they're deployed because that's the nature of our armed services as we speak. We have an all-volunteer service. That service is not at maximum in terms of its capacity, and it has to be filled. I think we should pay attention to what these guys have said, because I think it's important for us to recognize the sentiment of these young people who have served and what it's going to be like in the future, because they're recruiting constantly for people to join the Guard, and the rationale for joining the Guard was the safety and security of the country when a situation arose that had to be defended. And I think the perception at this point in time is some of these deployments have nothing to do with the safety and security of the United States. So I want to just put that on the record so that these people who testified, we recognize the fact that they did make, they did make sense in many ways in terms of what they were saying, and they're the young people that are part of the Guard, and we can't survive without the Guard. All right, 50% of the force in our country is made up of National Guard or reserves at this point in time. So I think we got to pay attention to what they said. I think the country has to pay attention to what they said, but I think. At this point in time, we're doing the right thing by putting this to interim study. But this is not going away, and the events that took place over the weekend are another indication of problems that are abound on the international level. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Further discussion? All those in favor of interim study say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. Senator D, since you spoke so eloquently here, I'll let you do it on the floor also. Okay, next bill, 322, and that one is on hold. We need some more information about the situation before we'll do anything on that. Any further comment before I move on? 436.
I'll move interim study. Second.
We have a motion of interim study on 436. Let me get to the first page of the bill here. Further comments? Okay, seeing. Whoop.
So if you recall a couple of years ago, I think it was in 2022, we did a one-time, I think it was roughly $28 million appropriation for this purpose. I think it's a very worthy purpose, but given the financial circumstances that we're dealing with, the Sununu Center settlements, the hope for some sort of initiative on Group 2, I think we need to be pretty cautious about this, so that's why I've moved interim study.
Further discussion? Seeing none, the motion is for interim study. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. And unless somebody else wants it, I'll take it out. Okay. The next one I have on the list is 468. Okay, 468 is the Department of Education recodification. I will move ought to pass,
I will second that.
and I'll also move amendment to 2024-11-65S.
Also seconded.
Okay. When they came to us on this bill, there was a lot of discussion as to whether the rest of the state law would allow education to do it. I think that they need to work together. That's why when you look at page 2, lines 25 through 31, we actually fund both of them to work together, which I think is going to be the best thing. Is that going to be the total funding for this? They may have to do some additional requests in the next budget or whatever, but it's the best thing that I could come up with. Senator Del Sando.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, first of all, I think your movement of the appropriations is the right way to go. I don't have a great deal of faith in the Department of Education in terms of working on adjusting the laws. I think our legislative services is where it should be done. That's where it's always been done in the past, and we haven't had a restructuring for an extended period of time. We've got to do it. We know we have to do it. Again, my point of interest and my point of real, I would say, a feeling that the Department of Education is not the place where it can be done. Given what's going on over at the Department of Education, what I've seen in the time that I've been here, it's many things that I think are totally inappropriate. And I think the last straw was the battle with our legislative budget office in terms of making information available so they can do an audit. That to me was totally unacceptable. So that's my concern. I want to share my concern with my colleagues. The Department of Education is important. What's going on over the Department of Education is, in my opinion, inappropriate and not good for education, and that's my concern. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Further discussion? Senator?
This is a reasonably time-limited study, and I'm just wondering if the Department of Education will be able to hire someone in time to actually be relevant to the work, or whether they could use an attorney they already have.
Well, I don't know that I see anybody from education here. Certainly the intent of this, and, you know, if you think that the repeal date is too quick, that would give them a year to do it, to November 1st of 2025. I have no problem in doing a committee amendment that pushes that out. And that would, again, you know, by that time, they are going to be dealing with their new budget, whatever is passed at that time. So,
push it out to 2026, September 30th, and repealing it on November 1st of 26.
If I might. The language says for the purpose of engaging an attorney. So it doesn't indicate hiring, could be contracting, right? Which would, significantly reduce the amount of time. I think it'd be hard to hire an attorney and say, hey, do this for a year and then go
Right,
find
and
something
then
else,
Bye-bye.
right? So,
Or maybe a consultant. I don't have any issue with the money. I don't have any issue with the way you've drawn this. I certainly am going to vote for it, but I just am wondering if we're giving them money that they won't be able to spend.
Well, I know in my conversations with the people in OLS, that is probably going to be contracted out, okay? And hiring someone who is familiar with their process on how to write these things and would not give them time. So a couple of the individuals who have just retired are probably some of the people that they would like to talk about, and whether they would be successful in doing that or not. There are other attorneys that have been working with them in the past. Again, that's fine too. If you think the date is too restrictive, line 36, then we can bump it a year. We can do that as part of the budget process. Again, I wrote this based on our conversation from before and talking with the two, and I'm willing to make changes. Senator D'Alessandro.
Thank you. Appreciate your sentiment. I think Senator Rosa makes a good point, but don't forget, we got the court case.
right.
And the court case is 2 years off. It'll take 2 years before the court comes down with a decision. That will have a dramatic effect on education law. So pushing it out is probably not a bad idea in terms of that situation, because we have the two things that are currently hanging out there. The statewide education situation, how that's levied, how that money is used, where the overage should go, how the state should handle that, and then you got the basic Conval suit. That will determine how we fund education. So those two things are preeminent in terms of law, and they will play a major role. So I think pushing it out.
In line 36, what would you like the date to be?
I think 2026 makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
Senator?
I think we need to also change line 23, because
Yeah, 23.
the report that all these attorneys are going to do is due September 30th, and also the appropriations will lapse.
So move that to 26 also?
Yeah, but the appropriations are going to
Right.
lapse at the end of the biennium. So I guess I'm wondering if we should leave it the way it is and make changes
And then expect
in the
exactly-
budget.
It's, again, I'm open.
We could make the appropriations non-lapsing.
Mr. Chair, could we require a preliminary report to come in sometime like the end of May next year so that we could consider it in the budget if we needed to, or the beginning of May? Just sort of like a status report?
Well, there'd be nothing that would prevent that.
More as a reminder that we need to look at it, was what I was thinking, because we get in the budget cycle, things are pretty busy. This could get very
Well-
easily overlooked.
Certainly, I guess I don't have a problem with the money lapsing at the end of the biennium, because if they're into this, then it needs to be in their budget proposal for the future. Okay? Changing, line 23 to 26, I don't think is a problem. And changing line 36 to 26, I don't think is a problem. And so with those, I don't think I need to make it non-lapsing because I think it's gonna cost them a lot more. And if they haven't spent the money by then, I welcome it back into the general fund, you know? So that's where I stand on this, is changing those two dates would be what I would,
Move that as
okay,
a committee amendment.
all
That
right.
we change the date in lines 23 and 36 to be 2026.
Okay, we have,
Second.
all right, so we have a motion and a second. All right, so unless there's an objection, I'm going to take 1165S as amended by the committee to change those two dates, and that's what we will be voting on.
Okay.
Is that, okay, so all those in favor of Amendment 1165S plus the changes as noted in the committee amendment, if you're in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? And the ayes have it. And now we are voting on the bill as amended.
So, just to be clear, the month and the day of the month stays the same?
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, further discussion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Is there anybody that wants to take that one out? Senator Innes. All right. 68. And 1054, we're going to hold on that one. Dealing with the border. 1279.
I will move that on the study.
We have a motion of interim study from Senator Innes. I will second that.
So, Mr. Chair, when I spoke previously about 436, I should have been speaking about 1279. It's a roughly $28 million appropriation. For the reasons I stated previously, I just think we have to be very careful before we commit to an appropriation of that magnitude, given other priorities.
Further discussion? Seeing none, the motion is interim study. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay.
Nay.
The ayes have it. And who wants to take this one out? Okay. Senator Pearl. $13.03. All right, Senator Rosenwald, you have an amendment. Would
I
you like to
do.
move on to pass?
I would move on to pass.
I'll second.
Okay.
And I'd like to move Amendment 1513S and speak to it if I may.
I'll second that.
And Senator Innes seconds that. You're recognized to speak.
Thank you. So I think we're all familiar with Ascendria Care. They used to be called Lutheran Social Services, and basically they settle all the refugees in New Hampshire. International Institute of New England also works with immigrants and refugees. I wasn't familiar with the Rocca Kids Club, so I read up on it yesterday, and it's located in Manchester. Apparently does great work, is in good standing with both the Secretary of State and Division of Charitable Trust, but their mission is not specifically focused on immigrants and refugees, it's on children. They're also, I think, much smaller. And I thought if we just reduced from 33% to 20%, they would probably be really happy with $26,000 and slightly more amounts going to these larger organizations that are really focused on the issue that the sponsors identified as wanting to solve. So that's why I brought this amendment.
Okay, further discussion? Okay, the motion is on Amendment 1513S. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. Now we're on the bill as amended. Further discussion?
Just what, is the corpus 131,000, is that the real number as we speak? Who would know?
Kevin knows everything.
Yes, it's that $131,000 figure that's in the fiscal note. I got that from the Treasury Department. And the other information I got is that estate has been reported to Treasury's Abandoned Property Division, but they need to do a little more work to determine if there are actually any heirs. And if they find that there aren't, it'll be formally escheated to the general fund.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Kevin.
Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, the motion is ought to pass as amended. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Rosenwald?
I would love to take this out.
You're
It's a
taking
Nashua-focused
it out.
bill.
And
Because
we
the
let you make
doctor
the motion, we let you make
practiced
the amendment.
in Nashua.
We're doing well.
Thank you.
The last one on the list is 1528, and that one is on hold also. Anything else that any of the committee members want to talk about? How are we doing on new bills coming? Or is that too early to ask? Hit your button. You have to hit your button.
Mr. Chair, we're still waiting for the last batch of House bills to come down.
Okay, so hopefully, we'll not have a crunch of bills that are assigned to us. I did hear a rumor from someone that there is going to be at least one bill assigned to us, so.
I think there actually be 7.
Okay. But
That will happen this afternoon.
I was also informed by a statistician that we processed more bills than any of the other finance committees in the recent history, so.
Really? Very efficient.
Just you guys are tremendous, what can I say?
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And with that, I will entertain a motion to come out of executive session.
Second.
We have a motion second to come out of executive session. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. Our business of the day being complete, we are adjourned.